Staying in Minnesota, two Northlanders have been charged after allegedly burning down their own bar and restaurant. Both Corey Wagner of Hill City and Heather Perro of Grand Rapids facing aiding and abetting arson charges. Wagner, who is in a relationship with Perro, owned the pub in Remer, Minnesota. That pub burned down in April of 2025. And after an investigation, authorities believe Wagner and Perro started that fire themselves. They state the fire started in two separate places. Wagner was behind on paying his employees and had also changed his insurance policy months before the fire occurred. Employees also say they heard the two talking about wishing that their bar would burn down. Wagner and Perro made their first court appearance this morning, and they are both in Itasca County Jail.